It's March the 28th, 2024. And a lot of people have been asking me about what do I mean by Montgomery County, Maryland is a charter. It's a business. It's not a government. They voted to turn Montgomery County into a charter. And this is what it is here. Go Google it. Montgomery County, Maryland is a business. It is not regulated under the same laws under the Declaration of Rights in your Maryland Constitution. It is a business. The people voted on it. They make their own laws, their own rules. So why is it that we have the Attorney General of Maryland representing these criminals who work in this corrupt business called Montgomery County, Maryland? You understand what I'm saying? This is a business. This is not like Prince George's County, which is a county within the state of Maryland. These people voted on it because they thought they were rich and they were powerful and they think that they can run a business. A lot of people talk about how Donald Trump is a business president. Okay, this is what goes on here. These people should not have immunity. So I want y'all to go Google this. Educate yourselves on what is happening. When you get arrested in Montgomery County, it's a business. It's not up under the government. These are strict laws that this criminal element of Montgomery County tries to use. And you can sue this as a business. And that's what's happening. But for some reason, the Attorney General for for Maryland, has decided to take and represent this big business called Montgomery County, the criminals within it, the terrorists within it. I told y'all that I was gonna tell y'all about. Go look up Title 18 U.S. Code Section 23315, and it tells you about terrorism in America. These people have waged war on the supreme law of this country and on the citizens of the United States and the supreme law. They have attempted to try to change the supreme law of this country, which Article 14 of the supreme law states they cannot subtract, add, go under, around anything that is written in the supreme law of this country. And they have waged war on the Constitution of the United States of trying to change it illegally. That's the same thing about the Second Amendment. Guaranteed every citizen, whether you've been in prison, out of prison, whatever, has a right to bear arms. That arms is what you choose to bear. It's only when you use it that the government can get involved or law enforcement can get involved. They can't arrest you because you are bearing an arms. They can't even tell you to have it concealed or not concealed. You can't add anything to the Second Amendment. It guarantees every citizen's a right to bear arms. If I choose to walk down the street carrying a bazooka, no law enforcement officer, no government can tell me it pursuant to the 14th Amendment. Because the Second Amendment gives me that guaranteed right until I use that bazooka. These are terrorist acts that are being made under the nose of free citizens. Common sense. Your forefathers knew what they were writing when they wrote this supreme law. But today, we have a lot of criminals who are trying to change the supreme law of this country behind your backs. One of them, black people are not allowed a jury trial. Poor people are not allowed a jury trial. In Washington, D.C. right now, just like in Philly, I think it was, you can't wear a ninja mask. The Eighth Amendment gives you that right. You secure, even in being secure in your own effects and property, but the Eighth Amendment gives you that right to wear what you want to wear when you want to wear. Nobody can tell you what you can put on your face. What's next? Black people can't go inside of certain businesses. Certain business can't sell to certain ethnic groups. This is where it's going to. But the supreme law of this country has made it very clear. Government can't get involved in certain things. So now Washington, D.C., like Philly or Pennsylvania, one of them, saying you can't wear a ninja mask because they're not doing their job of finding people who's committing crimes. Get the fuck out of here. Okay? That's our next thing is coming. We got so many things to prove and show you people that it's a list. And I'm telling you, each and every free citizen, it's time for you all to get up out your seats, go get you a camera, buy your body camera. You can put your own security code on there and Popo can't erase it. And if they do, it's a criminal act. And start recording what is happening in our country today. This is why our country is in the predicament it's in today, because we have allowed certain individuals to try and conspire to become terrorists in America, domestic terrorists. And here's some of the titles I want y'all to go look up. Some of the titles I want y'all to go look up. Because this is what terrorism in America. And it's happening right up under your noses. They're trying to change the supreme law of this country. And it makes it very clear. When you do that, you wage war on the citizens of the United States. And that's what's happening now. They have waged war on the supreme law of this country to try to make it the way they want it made. Like I told you, now they're trying to tell you what you can wear and what you can't wear. They're trying to tell you you can't record your government officials in the act of their duties. First Amendment says you have that right. Eighth Amendment covers you wearing whatever you want. That's just like, and I'm going to tell you where that came from. That came from when you go to school now, you got to wear a certain uniform. School ain't got nothing to do with uniforms. It's got something to do with educating yourself. But you fail for that. Start putting your kids in uniforms, sending them to school. So now they're telling you, because of the crime, you can't wear these ninja masks, but you can wear that mask to fight COVID. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody's going to tell me what I can wear and what I can't wear. Nobody. Okay? When you go, only time that happens when you go to prison or somewhere, right? They tell you got to put them jumpers on when you leave outside your cell. Okay? I'm telling you, free people, you got to watch what these people are doing. You can act like you don't see it, you don't hear it, but I'm telling you, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be in a different America, just like it is now. You went to sleep and you woke up and ethnics and foreigners took over America. And now you want to cry about it. Okay? This is Montgomery County. When you get locked up in Montgomery County, you're getting locked up in a business or charter. So when they do something outside the scope of your rights, you sue them as a business. And I mean, don't let these lawyers fool you. Okay? This is why you got to educate yourselves. Look at this shit, y'all. I want y'all to read this shit. Educate yourself. Don't believe what I'm telling you. Go do it for yourself. Montgomery County violated my rights under the supreme law of this country. And they became terrorists when they did that. when they did that. They are waging war on the supreme laws of America, this nation. They're changing it and hoping that you're not educating yourselves and they're doing what they want to do. And the only way we stop this is we start taking a stand, removing these individuals, putting them out there who they are, and showing the rest of the American people how corrupt they are. I want y'all to look at something. This is a charter. A charter as our instrumental of government. Now, let me tell y'all something. Why is the Attorney General of the state of Maryland a government agency representing a business? Because Montgomery County is a business. I am suing individuals, employees in this business for violating my constitutional rights. So why is the government representing them? If you work for a private agency and somebody wanted to sue you, would that corporation go get you a lawyer, or did you have to go get your own lawyer? Under color of law, these people went outside of their jurisdiction. Outside of the jurisdiction, right here where it says, the Constitution and general laws of the state of Maryland. Under Article 21 of the Declarations of Rights, gives me a right to a jury trial of my peers. This whore judge sat up there and said, I'm not entitled to a jury trial. I didn't waive my rights. I requested it through a demand to have a jury trial. And he said, you're not entitled to it. What? It's a guaranteed right. And when he said that, he waged war not on me, but also on the Constitution that guarantees that to me. So tell me, why is it a government agency is now conspiring with this business to violate citizens' rights? The Supreme Law also says everybody's entitled to a bond or bail. When you go to jail, you are entitled to a bond or a bail equal to the crime. A disorderly conduct, and that's what they tried to charge me with, is a misdemeanor, a non-existing charge. As you saw the recording, you saw where they planned and orchestrated this so-called fake crime. But the supreme law of this country says you can't take a constitutional right and make it into a criminal act. And that's exactly what they did. They took the First Amendment and made it into a crime of disorderly conduct. But yet and still, mind you, I'm in this business jurisdiction. Go read those U.S. Titles I just showed you. I'm going to show them to you again. Go read them and learn what the jurisdiction is. Here they go right here, y'all. You see, I educate myself on what I'm talking. I'm just not talking out the back of my head. Most people tell me you read it and you're not oh yeah, I do understand it quite well. And what I don't understand, I go talk to this legal professor who explained it to me. Unlike this police officer who is supposed to be a professor at the University of Maryland who orchestrating or tried to orchestrate a disorderly conduct. Google disorderly conduct. I think it was number C. I have to be interfering with someone's movement before it becomes a disorderly conduct. None of that happened. I never left the sidewalk. Freedom of speech gives me a right to say what I want to say, when I want to say it, and how I want to say it. Not one time on the police report does it state I threaten anybody. They didn't. I'm saying they didn't charge me with a threat, which is a crime and has a statute in the state of Maryland. Body cameras do not lie, free people. This is why they don't want you recording when they do dumb shit. Because they know they can manipulate them body cameras they got. And that's what they did in this court proceeding when they tried to snippet. I showed you what they sent to the judge in the federal court, the end of this arrest. They didn't tell you, they didn't show the judge how they tried to conjure up or make up these employees of Enterprise to conspire to try to get me to be a disorderly person. They didn't send that to the judge. And that's why I said, if you read some of these comments, what does the judge need to see this for? Because you want him to see the whole scenario. You don't want him to see part of it, right? Did I call him a bitch? Yeah, I called him a bitch. I ain't gonna hide behind nothing I call. First Amendment right. Did I call her a fat pig? You heard me. I called her that. Is that a crime? Hell no. And I'm not gonna hide behind. If I do something wrong, lock me up and let me go to court and I'll fight it. And I will fight it. But you're not gonna sit here and take my rights away from me. And like I tell people, the Supreme Court has says it's all right for a police officer to lie. Free people, what they need to do is retract that. Because if a person lied to you, how can you trust them? You could never trust them. And I don't trust the police as far. If you're in that uniform, I don't trust you. And it ain't you personally because I don't know you unless it come out your mouth you lying on me, just like this Russian bitch in Tacoma Park. He's a bitch. I don't care how you all see it. And I told it to the judge. I put it in there. He's a bitch. A dirty, rotten, low-down, stinking, thievery bitch. He stole my money. He stole my property. And to this day, I ain't got none of that back yet. I got a letter from the captain or something saying I can come down there and pick my slapstick and my mace. What about my money this bitch stole from me? And if he needed money that bad, he could have came to me. I would have gave him a loan. I know he ain't making more than I do, but I would have gave him a loan. I don't steal. It shows he's still in uniform. As y'all saw, the last recording of me being arrested in Langley Park when he jumped out the car and I called him a bitch again, this the same officer. If you're a bitch, you're a bitch. I'm telling you straight up, these people have decided to wage war on the supreme law of this country. And they are terrorists under the law. Under the law, they are terrorists. Go read the 14th Amendment, and it makes it very clear. No state government agency can abridge. Go read the legal definition of the word abridge. Anything that is written in the supreme law of this country. But this whore judge in Silver Spring, Maryland, and in the administrative judge in Circuit Court of Rockville violated and waged war on the Constitution when they told me I'm not entitled to a guaranteed right. And yeah, the administrative judge in the Circuit Court of Rockville also violated my rights. He next to be sued along with this whore. Both of them whores. Okay? Both of them. And the funny thing about this is this, y'all. The Circuit Court judge, the administrative judge in the Circuit Court of Rockville, we have history. He knows exactly who I am. He's one of those bitches that tried to say I put hits on them and their families when I got locked up. And he wants to act like he doesn't remember me, but I remember him. He's the one of these fictitious whores that conspired with the rest of these whores and made up this fictitious lie. See? And then when I went to court in his room, let me tell y'all something right now about the jury selection. When I got the night, I think he gave me 90 days in the county jail for disorderly conduct. Oh no, he gave me that for driving without a license or whatever. That case. 3 of the jury's members I knew and I seen before. But when they asked them, did any of them know me? Not one of them raised their hand. This is how this corrupted shit works. I knew 3 of them that sat on the panel, and then they wouldn't remove them off the panel. None of them raised their hands. And I looked at them, and that's why I laughed at this whole proceeding. This shit is so fucking corrupt that there's zero accountability that is taking place. If there was accountability, and I can prove and show after all these people, you know how they do jury selection and you go through the selecting of them and they seat all of them. 3 of them knew me, but they told the court they didn't. And I'm pretty sure the state attorney and the judge all was in cahoots with them. Every 2 years or 1 year, once you're on the jury panel, you can't be on the jury panel again. I've been down there and I see the same people keep going into that jury room. I think it's the 2nd floor or the 3rd floor in the circuit court. We've been watching. It's the same kind of people going in there. Corruption at its finest, y'all. This is how they get that new district courthouse in Rockville, Maryland. This is how they built the part on there, because they're charging people with fictitious charges, and they have these domestic terrorists sitting on the benches, making them pay these ridiculous fines. I got a fine, I think he say $500 for not having a license or registration when they took my motorcycle. Who's the victim? Who's the victim? And I'm paying, he tells me I got to pay victim fines. I'm not paying shit from no court. You got 1 or 2 choices, homeboy. And I'm talking to the judge. You had 1 or 2 choices. Either you're going to lock me up or I pay the fines. I one of the 2. And I'm not going to pay the fines because I'm going to go in there and sit on my ass and let y'all pay and go in there and show the convicts their rights inside the jail. You're not going to get me. I'm not going to do 2 fines. And that's what you people need to stop doing. Either they're going to make you pay fines or they're going to give you jail time. They're not going to do both. It's just like this probation shit. You got to pay to go to probation. People, wake up. I'm not paying nobody. If you're going to put me on probation, I'm not paying nobody shit. Now, if you want me to pay a fine to not go probation and I feel like I don't want to go to probation and I go pay that fine, so be it. But you ain't going to get both of them. You ain't going to double dip on me. You have to pay probation and parole. Get the fuck out of here. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. When these clowns, some of y'all don't know this, but I've been to prison. And I think it was 3 months after I was in Hagerstown serving my time. This alleged crime. Now, I want y'all to hear what this crime was. I was charged with ordering contract hits on judges and their families in the Circuit Court of Rockville, Maryland. That's where this administrative judge up here, he's one of the whores that his name is all over the paperwork. Okay? and a governor, Martin O'Malley, and his family, and the county executive of this corporation called Montgomery County, the black guy, not the white guy they got now, but the black guy, Leggett. I was charged with putting contract hits on them and their families. Okay, not one judge in the circuit court of Rockville wanted to sit on this fictitious case. So what they did was they went to Prince George's County and got a judge named Johnson. He was a terrorist or some kind of judge in Prince George's County, and a state attorney under this Armstead lady who's now trying to run for U.S. Senate, who was the county executive of Prince George's County, a criminal. And that's who she's a criminal too, a terrorist. They both came to Montgomery County, and they said they were elected officials of Montgomery County, the corporation business of county. And they found me guilty of so-called putting these hits. All of it is a felony charge. So why am I sitting in the state jail if these are felony charges? Okay? It was all fictitious. 3 months up in Hagerstown, my case manager comes to me and said, you've been ordered to go to what they call these houses where you go at, and they, halfway houses, and they were going to put a GPS on me. Mind you, this is 3 months after my sentence. I told my casework, fuck them. I'm not going to anything. I'll sit here in jail until I overturn this whole fucked up sentence. And that's what I did. And you know what? After writing writ of habeas corpus explaining that this judge and this state attorney lied and said that they were Montgomery County elected officials. The judge is an elected official. Go Google it. He can't go over into another county where the citizens did not elect him. The same thing with this state attorney who came to Montgomery County and said she was a state attorney. Now, anybody knows if you go to Rockville, all them whores sitting up on the 5th floor of Montgomery County employees under this state attorney, which y'all need to vote out of office because he a piece of garbage. I'm going to tell you about him later, but he a piece of garbage. Not one of them wanted to sit on this case. So they went to PG County. And the funny thing about it, let me tell y'all something. They always try to play that race card. Don't ever think they don't. These two individuals were black. Out of all the judges and all the state attorneys in Prince George's County, why you couldn't get no white judge or no white state attorney? But after I wrote my writ of habeas corpus, let me tell y'all how this worked now. I wrote a writ of habeas corpus. And you know where it went? To Annapolis, to another whore, the chief judge, who her husband works in the corporation of Montgomery County. And she's a judge down there now. This is how this works. And the funny thing about it is this, y'all. I'm finna close it out. When it was time for me to leave, I refused to leave the prison because I thought, now y'all don't got hemmed up. So they called a Howard County detective to come and escort me out of the jail. And when I told this Howard, they put me in the 3-piece, the chain, like I was John Gotti or somebody or a high-risk terrorist. And when the officer, they took me over to Howard Hospital to be evaluated and so that I could be released. And when he asked me, when he saw me in all these chains, mind you, I'm being released, right? Because I refused to sign any of the prison documents because I didn't commit a crime. The crime and the whole time I sat in prison, I'm telling these people, I ain't commit this crime and I'm not going to go along with you. When I got ready to be released, I ain't going to never forget it. It was on Christmas Eve. They took me over there, 2017. So when you hear these little clowns talk about I've been locked up and this and that, that's what I got locked up for. A fictitious crime because I bucked the system. Okay? I told the detective what I got locked up for, and I sat there and watched this detective get on the phone and make a phone call. Now, mind you, he had all his documents with me, and we at the hospital. I'm in a 3-piece with 2 correctional officers, all in this 3-piece. You chained up from the ankles, your hand around your waist, who don't know what a 3-piece is. I mean, mind you, I'm getting released. When this detective gets off the telephone, I tell him what I'm locked up. He said, well, why are you in the state prison? I say the same thing. If you claim that I did all of this against these government officials, the governor, and all, why am I sitting in a state prison? That's federal charges. Okay? When he got off that phone, he went over, he gave all the paperwork to the correctional officers, and he walked out the door. He did not want to be involved in this bullshit. We got some honest officers out there. Every prison, I done been to every prison in the state of Maryland, y'all. And and I educated myself on it to see how many people are being wrongly imprisoned by these corrupt individuals who sit on these benches. Let me tell y'all this, and if you don't believe me, I ain't got nothing to hide from you free people. I keep it 100 with you. Every time I walked up into one of these prisons in the state of Maryland, and the case manager saw what I was being charged with, I left out of there in 30 days. They wanted nothing to do with me. Because they know this was some bullshit. When I tell them that an elected official come from Prince George's County, an elected employee, one of the elected employees came from Prince George's County, came to Montgomery County, and they all, under oath, said they were Montgomery County government officials. That's how this corrupt shit worked. They got me the fuck out of their prison. And that's why I told them, I thought something was shady when they're telling me you about to be released. I told them, go call the state police. And if they say I'm being released, escort me off the property, because I thought they would, might try to say I'm escaping or something like that. Anybody who been to prison would tell you got to sign releases and all. I ain't did none of that. I was a political prisoner in the state of Maryland for a crime I didn't commit. And that's how I carried it. So when these clowns talk about 60 days or whatever, or you going back to prison, no, bitch, you scared to go somewhere and take a stand. I ain't. And every time they do it, I'm going to sue their ass, and that's how we're going to do it now. I'm going to record it, and I'm going to sue their ass. Just like this. And I'm going to use their own laws against them, just like this. These individuals have waged war on the American people and the supreme law of this country. And I'm telling y'all right now, in Montgomery County, Maryland, this business is in cahoots with the Attorney General and the state of Maryland. Are they representing the people? No. They're representing employees of the charter of Montgomery County, the business of Montgomery County, for violating a citizen's right, which they are supposed to uphold pursuant to them taking an oath of the Constitution of this country, this nation. The Attorney General's office. I'm going to show you a recording of a demand for a jury trial as we get through this case to show you just how corrupt this system is. I'm just trying to figure this judge that is on this case here, which way she going to sway, yay or nay. And it ain't even about the money with me. It's yay or nay. So y'all stay tuned. More to come.